If you want to create a community tank for cichlids, especially ones on the more aggressive side, you're going to need a very big tank. Tank size depends on the size of the fish and how many you want. Fish like convicts, firemouths and peacock cichlids are going to need at least 100 litres and often more, whilst the larger cichlids like Jack Dempsey's, Texas and Oscar cichlids will need over 100 litres when they are fully sized. In my tank it's about 100 litres and I have a firemouth, a blue eye and a young green terror who will not be staying in this tank for very long because they get absolutely humongous. I also used to have a convict cichlid in this tank, but he sadly recently died. You will need to do your own research on specific species and which can go together, but it's usually best to have cichlids of similar size and temperament. If you have very aggressive cichlids like convict cichlids with very peaceful ones like cribensis, they will fight and possibly kill each other, and obviously the more aggressive one is going to win. Peaceful cichlids are ones like cribensis, rams, acaras, most apistogrammas, and geophagus, whilst more aggressive cichlids are convicts, firemouths, green terrors, perhaps wolf cichlids, and Texas cichlids. Size in cichlid community tanks is something that needs to be taken into consideration. Generally, you want to have fish of similar size, and often the biggest fish will be the one that doesn't get picked on as much and is the dominant fish in the tank, although this isn't always the case. Another thing to remember when you introduce a new fish to the tank is that they usually will fight, flare, and size each other up. If they're absolutely ripping each other to pieces though, and you definitely cannot leave it another day, then you do need to separate them and maybe try again. Things you can try to do if they're fighting after one's been introduced is rearranging the tank and adding more hiding places, and have things in the way like big logs and rocks so they aren't always seeing each other. Then you can try again when there are no territories already built. This might work, although it's important to have a separate tank or just a plan B when owning fish like these. Also, if the tank is too small, there will be lots of fighting over territories, and some fish will just make the entire tank their territory, and it will just be a horrible, stressful mess for all the fish in the tank. It's also very normal to see little fights or seeing them just chase each other away occasionally. There can also be more aggression if there is multiple of the same species and very few females compared to males. This is because males will fight over who gets the female, because in nature usually it's the strongest one who gets to breed. You can also expect that some might have a rip or a tear in their fins, and this is just from either fighting or some decor in the tank. If their fins are ripped to shreds with little holes and white fuzz or dots, this is an infection and it needs to be medicated. And if their fins are being nipped and ripped to the point where they can't swim properly and they're stressing and turning grey and always hiding in the corner of the tank, then you have an aggression problem. As you can see, 2 of my fish do have a few little rips in their fins, and 1 does not. Also notice how the one that does not have nips in their fins is the biggest one. This is an example of what I was just talking about before. So I'm going to need to do something to stop the aggression, although it hasn't gotten too bad yet. One thing I've done in the past is putting one in a breeder box so they can see the fish, but they cannot attack them. I did this for a few days and it seemed to have worked. The last thing I'm going to say is just keeping them well fed. If they're not hungry, they will be less likely to be aggressive and less likely to view their tank mates as food. Thank you so much for watching till the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions at all, ask me in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next video.